Pirates finally did it. Kind of. Welcome into Fantasy Baseball today on Thursday, August 21st. I am Frank Stampfl, joined by Scott White and Chris Towers. Today on the show, fun night for rookie pitchers. Jesus Luzardo looks like he is back, and we'll play a little over, under, or just right before we get into the players of the night. The Pirates are finally promoting top prospect Bubba Chandler, but he's going to pitch out of the bullpen. So this kind of throws a wrench in all the fun and excitement for, a prospect of his caliber getting called up. And it's been a weird season for sure for Bubba Chandler. Got off to a great start. Many presumed he was going to get called up after that great start. Maybe it was sometime in May. And then he's really kind of gone downhill. And what's even weirder is that his last 6 starts before getting the call have been really bad. 7.42.
Yeah.
ERA,
that's the thing that's the hardest to understand. That's the thing that's the hardest to understand is you wait a full year. He made his AAA debut about a year ago. He was awesome last year. He had a 1.91 ERA through his first 8 starts this season. So he had a sub-2 ERA his first 15 starts at AAA. Things go off the rails from there. Things really go off the rails the last 6 starts. He has a 7.32 ERA, a 1.99 whip since the All-Star break. And now they're now's the time. Let's call him up to be a reliever.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I don't think, so there's a lot that could be said here. Obviously, I don't know how much we want to get into it right now, but I guess we are. So, it is frustrating because Bubba Chandler has been a fixture in my 5 on the Verge and the prospects report all season long. I basically said he's one of the top 5 prospects to stash. He's remained rostered in 65 to 80% of CBS Sports leagues all season long. And he's finally coming. Sounds like it's going to be in a role where he's not particularly useful. I don't think it's a true relief role, he's going to be throwing an inning at a time. Mm-hmm. I think it's more of a piggyback role where, 3 to 5 innings at a time.
They actually
following a starter.
They said it's going to be a bulk relief role, yeah.
Right. So but I still don't think there's much utility for that in fantasy. Maybe a little more than if he was in short relief, but still not much. And we have no idea how he's going to perform because it got bad there. Now, there's certainly an argument to be made. I can't get into his head, but he has expressed some frustration that the delay in calling him up earlier this season contributed to him going off the rails. He started pressing or started doing something different because he felt like he had to do something different, and it totally imploded on him. But it did totally implode on him. So through May, 11 starts in, a 2.03 ERA, 1.07 whip, 12.8 K per 9. Everybody knew he was about to get called up at that point, including presumably him. But he didn't. He was probably close. I mean, they may have been waiting till late June. They may have been waiting till the Super 2 situation passed. It was probably on the verge of being called up at that point. But then his next 13 starts. So it was the first 11, amazing. Next 13, a 5.96 ERA, a 1.87 whip, 9.1 K per 9. At that point, how could the Pirates call him up? He was going so poorly. What I said last week in the Fantasy Baseball Express when I was talking about 13 prospects who we could see called up with 45 days left, I think we're to a point now where he's not going to use up his rookie eligibility. It doesn't seem like things are turning around to AAA. You just got to try it out and see what you have for next year. And so I think that's what the Pirates have ultimately decided to do here. They're going to get him in this harshest environment where he felt like he deserved to be, and just let him go and see what they have. And if it goes as poorly as his last 13 starts at AAA did, well, he's probably beginning next year in the minors, but maybe it won't. And so, I'm sure they're frustrated with the way the season has played out for Bubba Chandler, just as Chandler himself is. But now they got to fix it. Now everybody's got to come together and figure out how to make this work.
I think you are giving one of the most poorly run organizations in professional sports, frankly, way too much benefit of the doubt here.
Well, in what way?
In the way you're
protesting.
What?
What are you?
So I looked it up. I looked at the pitchers ranked in the top 50 in Baseball Prospectus's preseason rankings over the past 3 seasons. And I looked at how many starts they got at AAA before getting called up.
Okay.
And some of them have not been called up, like Andrew Painter for obvious reasons, Quinn Matthews for also obvious reasons. But there were...
They've been bad is the obvious reasons.
Yeah, bad and hurt. There have been 15 who have been called up. Of those 15, Kyle Harrison made 20 starts at AAA before he got called up. He wasn't all that impressive. That makes sense. Mick Abel made 33. He was not a top prospect by the time he got called up. So that also makes sense. Everyone else, every other one of those 13 pitchers was called up with 14 or fewer starts at AAA.
Okay. But how does that conflict with what I was saying?
I'm just saying when Bubba Chandler made 15 starts at AAA, he had a sub-2 ERA and like 13 K per 9.
Yeah, he was doing great.
Because he had 7 starts last year, and then the first 8 this year, he was incredible.
It really turned in June.
They should have called him up then. That's my thing.
Like
that's what's indefensible.
I'm just saying.
And there was a detail from a Pittsburgh Post-Gazette story last week that I think or 2 weeks ago that has gone a little under the radar, but I thought it was crazy because I don't think I've ever heard of this. It was reported that multiple players on the Pirates active roster contacted Bubba Chandler and apologized to him for the team not calling him up. That is crazy.
Yeah. No, it's
I'm
not disputing that they should have called him up in May. I'm saying he probably would have been called up in June if he hadn't started sucking.
But I'm saying the Pirates screwed this up.
That
it's
Bubba
only
Chandler
human.
Could have pitched better too.
It's only like they overbaked it. You guys watch Great British Bake Off? If you don't, you should. They overproved it. You can't leave the dough in the proving drawer for too long, or I don't know, it gets too much air or not enough. I don't really understand baking. I'm very bad at it, but they overproved it. Paul Hollywood would hate it. Bubba Chandler's got a soggy bottom now, and they screwed it up.
Oh, gosh.
That's a reference from the show.
Yeah.
Bringing this back,
if he just keeps doing what he's doing,
sure,
I'm not saying the Pirates handled it well. But Bubba Chandler has agency here.
Yes. What's frustrating is that this is clearly one of the most talented young pitchers in baseball. And we're not excited about him being called up.
Yeah.
And whether it's the Pirates' fault, whether it's Bubba Chandler's fault, that stinks because he's not pitching well right now. He has to turn it around. He has to show something. And he's going to be pitching in a role that he's not used to. The Pirates have already said it's going to be like they've done with Graham Ashcraft, Braxton Ashcraft.
Yep.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be multiple Ashcrafts in the NL Central. And he was pitching 2-3 innings for the most part. He's in the rotation now. And I believe the Post-Gazette also reported that they do plan on giving Bubba Chandler starts before the end of the season. But this was one where we thought he was going to get called up, and it's a 5-alarm fire. We got to add him everywhere immediately, and now it's
he's still pretty widely rostered, at least in CBS leagues.
But if you've got the roster spot, sure, hang on to him. But I can't say we have to rush out and add him where he's available. Unfortunately,
I don't have any interest in. He is widely rostered in CBS leagues. Give me Hurston Waldrop instead.
I might say give me Cam Schlittler ahead of him. He's like 47% rostered. He looked really good tonight.
We're going to talk about all those pitchers a little bit later on. There's also Nolan McLean. I mean, those are guys that are starting right now and can help you now. I mean, maybe in a roto league, Bubba Chandler, if he's throwing 3 or 4 innings of relief twice a week, that can help you as well. But yeah, it's mostly in bulk relief for now, and it sounds like he is actually going to follow up Braxton Ashcraft when Ashcraft starts on Friday. So we'll see how many innings he throws. We'll see how Bubba Chandler looks. If you held on to him this long, I guess keep holding on, because if he looks really good his first couple of relief outings, who's to say maybe they just throw him in the rotation and see what he could do in September. So that is a chance. There's a chance that can happen. Obviously, very exciting prospect, but just the way everything was handled, the way his season has gone, the role that he's being put into, it's very frustrating from a fantasy perspective. Let's take a quick break. When we return, we'll get into our players of the night. We'll do that right after this.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you. When you need your sports in a snap, find it on CBS Sports HQ, streaming free anywhere you are.
Welcome back in Fantasy Baseball today. Let's get into the players of the night.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Well, how did that get in there? That's crazy. Fun night for rookie pitchers, and at the top of the list, Hurston Waldrep. Awesome again against the White Sox here. 7 shutout innings, 7 strikeouts to just 1 walk, 14 whiffs on 87 pitches. That splitter is disgusting. I mean, it just kind of like floats up at the plate. It's almost kind of like a knuckleball. It's crazy. Through 69% of his pitches for strikes here, that has been a big key because, when he was in the minors in, previous years or year, control has been an issue for him. But so far, it's looked pretty good here in the majors. He's allowed just 2 earned runs total over 24 2/3 innings. He's changed the pitch mix this year. He's throwing this new cutter, this new sinker, and it's all working out right now for Hurston Waldrep. 72% rostered. Looks like he lines up for 2 starts next week at the Marlins, at the Phillies. I think this is as close to a must-add, must-roster pitcher given what he's done and his pedigree so far.
Yep. He's been great. He featured that splitter even more in this one. It was more like 40%, 28% was where it was previously, and it got even better results, got more whiffs overall. He's allowed 2 earned runs in 24 2/3 innings. 3 of his 4 appearances have been 6 innings or more, so he's given you plenty of length too, and he has innings to work with. And you mentioned the pedigree. His major league debut last year went so poorly, and his minor leagues, his time in the minors thereafter was pretty shaky too, that I think a lot of people lost faith in Hurston Waldrep. Mm-hmm. But coming out of the 2023 draft, if you look at first-year player rankings for fantasy, I know our buddy Chris Welsh certainly felt this way. After Paul Skeens, the top pick in that draft, obviously, after Paul Skeens, Hurston Waldrep seemed like he was going to be the most relevant pitcher for fantasy. So went askew there for a while, but 2023 draft, that was only 2 years ago. And now it finally, now it seems like Hurston Waldrep is living up to that initial hype.
Let's just talk about all the other rookie pitchers who performed well here. Cam Schlittler had his the best start of his young career. Took a perfect game into the 7th inning at the Rays. Wound up 6 2/3 shutout, 1 hit, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. Had 19 whiffs on 95 pitches, 11 of those on his fastball. But he had everything working. He's allowed 2 earned runs or fewer in 4 straight. But this was his first time even completing 6 innings, let alone pitching into the 7th. He's 47% rostered. The matchups for next week, Nationals and White Sox. So that looks amazing for Cam Schlittler. And I want to give a shout out to Parker Messick, who looked very good in his major league debut at the D-backs. 6 2/3 innings, 1 run, 6 strikeouts, only 8 whiffs on 83 pitches, but that changeup looked as advertised. 4 of those 8 whiffs on the changeup. He's a fiery dude. He's animated. He's talking to himself. It was pretty
fun
to watch.
Yeah.
He looks like he's going to be a fun one there. So
he looked good.
I think he's behind those names because he's just, not, I guess, I don't even want to say not as, highly regarded. I mean, he was a pretty big prospect in his own right, but only 9% rostered. I think it's mostly for deep leagues. Who do you guys prefer between Waldrep and Cam Schlittler here?
Oh, Waldrep.
Okay. Yeah, by a lot. I still, this was a great start for Schlittler. Don't get me wrong. It was great in every way. He entered this with a swinging strike rate less than 10%. And very fastball heavy.
It's a good fastball, though.
It's a good fastball. It's not one. It's high velocity. It's got a pretty good induced vertical break, but it's not like the shape is good enough that I think he can get away with throwing that fastball 2/3 of the time. He did in this start, but I don't think that's a long-term plan for Schlittler, and I'm not sure the secondary arsenal is there yet for him to be a reliable option in fantasy.
I don't think he's that far ahead of Messick, which is not necessarily fully an indictment of Schlittler. I really liked what Messick did today.
Yeah. Messick looked great too. I don't think his control is normally going to be this good. He threw 67% of his pitches for strikes. It was only 62% in the minors this year. So I don't think this is going to be the norm for Messick.
I will say,
and I would take Schlittler over him. Yeah.
I'm shocked that Cam Schlittler is the third hardest throwing starter in baseball right now. I just did not expect that to be he's averaging 98 miles an hour with his fastball.
Yeah.
That is what it's Hunter Green and Paul Skeens are the only guys ahead of him. I guess Misiorowski and Chase Burns if they had enough to qualify, but that is stunning. I did not think we were going to see that from Cam Schlittler.
What if I throw Nolan McLean in that mix? Where would he rank among the rookie pitchers? Messick, Schlittler, Waldrop, and McLean.
Waldrop, McLean, Schlittler, Messick. And I think it's Waldrop, tier, McLean, tier, Schlittler, and Messick are probably in the same tier for me.
I agree completely.
My answer might depend on what McLean's matchups look like for next week.
Sure, yeah.
Just because, again, like that 2-start week for Schlittler just looks really, really tasty right now. McLean, it looks like he gets one start against the Phillies next week. So at this point in the season, I think we're kind of, going week to week. It's, there's not much.
Yeah, that's true. So. That's a good point.
That's a fair point.
So I think I would lean with Schlittler over McLean, but Hurst and Waldrop at the top of that list. All right, players of the night. Let's go over to Scott. Who you got?
I want to talk about Brice Turang, who you look up suddenly and he has 13 home runs. How did that happen? Well, 7 of them, more than half, have come here in August. It's been a crazy month for Brice Turang, and it continued here on Wednesday. He went 3 for 3 with a double. For the month of August now, 358 batting average, 7 home runs, 2 stolen bases. What's going on? Well, he's hitting the ball harder for one thing. Really, that's been going on all season long. His average exit velocity for the year, 90.6 miles per hour. That's 60th percentile. Previous years, he was like 35th percentile average exit velocity. So like he's just hitting the ball harder. And it's been even harder here in the month of August, more like 91 miles per hour. But more than that, in August, he's been angling it optimally off the bat. Pull air rate, it's about 20% here in August. For the year, it's just 7%. And yeah, I mean, if Brice Turang is going to impact the ball 60th percentile, that kind of quality of contact, it's not going to take much for him to become a power hitter. It's just going to take what he's doing here in August, basically elevating to his pull side. So I think we regarded Brice Turang as pretty much just a pure base stealer coming into the year, and kind of if he wanted that, I know he was on my bust list, but he's grown into some power here in his third major league season, 25 years old. It's not the most unprecedented thing ever, and very interested to see if he can maintain this pull air rate the last week of August into September. If he can get to 20 home runs, probably not 20 home runs, but if he can get, high teens, then that might give him a 20 to 25 homer projection for next season to go with all the steals. So Brice Turang may be turning into not just a solid starter at second baseman, but at best second base, but truly high end.
Yeah, it's a great season for Brice Turang. I guess the one drawback to his season is you probably drafted him to give you a huge sum of steals, and he's only giving you 21 this year. Now, overall, he's still been a great player. He ranks as the 50th overall player in Roto entering tonight, so that's only going to go up. And he was drafted, outside the top 100. But the shape of the production has changed, right? It's a better batting average, more power. Counting stats look pretty good. But, it's 21 steals versus the 50 they gave us last year. So I guess that's the one drawback, but who's going to complain, right? He's obviously giving you a great season. Chris, over to you for your player of the night.
I want to talk about Kodai Senga because I do we have to talk about dropping Kodai Senga?
Maybe.
I'd be more likely to drop him than Strider.
It's been pretty bad. I know he was. The thing that's tough is he had a 1.47 ERA when he hurt his hamstring in June. And since then, it's like a 5.22 ERA, I think. He has 19 walks in 31 innings, only 29 strikeouts in that span, giving up a lot of hits. It's just been everything's gone sideways for him. He's only gone 5 innings 3 times in 7 starts. And it might just be, the hamstring derailed him. His expected stats and his peripherals were pretty bad early on. And I kind of sort of think this was always going to happen to Kodai Senga. He just has not looked the same since his rookie season when he dealt with the shoulder injury last year. And I think he's a pretty fringy fantasy option at this point.
I agree. I think that low ERA early on was fake, and we were saying that at the time. I didn't think it would go quite this poorly for him, but now 7 starts back from the IL, less than a strikeout per inning. Mm-hmm. And only once has he exceeded 5 innings in any of those 7 starts. So they're short. They're not that. He's not showing a lot of upside within some of the struggles there. The thing I just said I'd be more likely to drop Kodai Senga than Strider. That's kind of an upside case for Strider. It's mostly I'd be afraid of him falling into the wrong hands and then suddenly clicking into place. Then I'm not really worried about that with Senga. I'd invite somebody to start Senga against me. So yeah, I mean, if it came to it, I'd be totally fine dropping Senga for Waldrop.
Would you drop him for any of the other names we mentioned?
I mean, maybe looking at Schlittler's matchups next week, if I knew I was going to start Schlittler with that 2-start slate, I could see doing that. Yeah, I could see doing that. I'm going to rank Senga ahead of Schlittler rest of season, but I could see, just in the name of maximizing that lineup next week doing that. I'm not that afraid of dropping Senga's bottom line.
But man, the stuff metrics on Senga are all way down from his rookie season. He just does not look like the same guy. Which is bad because the command was never great.
Yeah. What if I told you that Senga's in line for 2 starts next week against the Phillies and Marlins? Does that change anything?
No. Why would it change anything?
Think in a points league.
In a points league, you might want the 2 starts. I don't know.
But I think 2 4-inning starts against a good lineup and a decent lineup. The Marlins, I would say, have a decent lineup. I think the Marlins are
no Stowers. I think they're pretty bad again.
Okay. They are without Stowers, but they got some other ammunition in there.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, both Waldrop and Schlittler line up for 2 starts next week as well. So if those are your alternatives, then it probably makes sense to move off of Kodai Senga. If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure to check out our 10-minute podcast, FBT Express. We have a prospect episode coming out later today, so be on the lookout for that. And big thanks to those watching live. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. And if you are subscribed, don't leave. Don't, unsubscribe for the offseason and stuff. We're still winding down. We're going to have a bunch of fun conversations looking forward to the future. And then we'll do a bunch of really cool offseason content as well. So we invite you to stick around if you've made it this long. News and notes. So it turns out the hand injury Kyle Tucker suffered back in June was a hairline fracture. Why we're just learning this now, I have no idea.
I was going to ask you to get I've Got You, Babe by Sonny and Cher as a drop. This is another reference that, Frank, there's no way you got that one, right?
Oh, I absolutely do. My dad loves old classic rock and all that stuff.
No, but you don't get the movie. It's Groundhog Day.
No. I know the song, but
okay, it's the song that plays at the beginning of the day at Groundhog's Day. And that's what it feels like we're going through with Kyle Tucker. Again, how does this happen 2 years in a row? But are his bones just really fuzzy?
I think they knew about it, though. I think they knew about it back then. I think we're just learning about it now. It's like, why?
Are his bones just really fuzzy?
They didn't. I mean,
they don't show up in high definition.
Yeah, it took me a minute, but that's funny.
The report is that he's pushed to play through it, and this is the hard thing about professional athletes. If you've made it to the majors, you are by definition an outlier who beat impossible, unimaginable odds. So, of course, you think you can always do the impossible. And it's on the management to say, let's take 3 weeks. I get it. He's playing for a great team. He wanted to, he's got that big contract coming up.
Yeah.
Man, it just feels like he pushed to play through it and he shouldn't have, and it's a bummer.
Well, what's weird is he was good in the immediate aftermath of that injury.
He was great. He was great. Yeah. He hit 311 with a 982 OPS in the month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't until July.
Been awful since the start of July, so it's just really weird the way all this played out. What do we do with Kyle Tucker, if anything? I mean, knowing now that they say he's healed, but I don't know, clearly it's had some kind of effect on him. Does this maybe open up your mind a little bit to benching Kyle Tucker?
Only if the Cubs are giving indication that they're planning on sitting him out more like they had done this week. I still like if truly he's healed and they're saying he is, then I still have faith in that player with that track record pulling out of this slump. And maybe this mental reset he's gotten here in recent days, maybe that is going to be the trick. We've certainly seen that work for players in the past.
Yeah, Frank, who's the other mental reset guy? You've mentioned him a bunch.
Adolis Garcia.
Was that the one? There was someone who got like a mental reset day, and it really turned things around.
Yeah, there might have been another one too, but I know for sure Garcia. But it feels like maybe there was another player that happened for as well. Felix Bautista underwent surgery to repair a torn labrum and torn rotator cuff in his right shoulder, and is expected to be sidelined at least 12 months. My goodness. That means he'll probably just miss all of next season too. I mean, we're, 12 months from now, it's mid-August next year. And I don't know how, maybe the Orioles bounce back and they have a better season, but if they're not playing for much, it doesn't really make sense to kind of rush him back. So we'll see what the Orioles do with their bullpen heading into next season. Shohei Ohtani was pinch hit for in the 8th inning. He was hit in the leg by a comebacker as the pitcher earlier in the game. Dave Roberts said he's pretty confident Ohtani will return to the lineup on Friday. Thursday apparently was a scheduled day off for Ohtani.
Yeah, they already said that a couple days ago, yeah.
Zach Neto left after a hit by pitch on his left hand. Let's hope it's nothing serious. He's been amazing. Brandon Nimmo left early with neck stiffness. He's day-to-day. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has missed 2 straight with hamstring inflammation. O'Neal Cruz
have you guys heard of that injury classification before, hamstring inflammation? Like, I've never heard that. Like, usually if you hurt your hamstring, it's a strain. I just wonder if they're kind of softening the language here.
I mean, yeah, that's always because, like, remember when Jared Jones got hurt and it was like someone reported it's not a tear, it's a strain, and it's like, well, yes, that's a tear. Like, definitionally, it is. Teams will put out different verbiage, and it's kind of. I think the point in what they're saying is that it's not serious.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully,
they've said it's day-to-day. I have my doubts.
Yeah. O'Neal Cruz has ramped up activity recently, but isn't ready to return from the 7-day concussion IL. Pablo Lopez will make his first rehab start Thursday at AAA. Jackson Merrill has missed 3 straight with that left ankle issue, and we later learned that he's dealing with some bone bruising, which can, quote, take a while to heal, according to manager Mike Schilt. So,
do we know what that dates back to?
That was
the weekend, right?
Sunday, I think it happened.
Oh, okay. So not very long at all.
Yeah.
I'm looking for excuses. I'm looking to make excuses for Jackson Merrill. I think he's really talented, but it's been a disaster.
It's been tough. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he winds up on the IL. Both Tanner Scott and Kirby Yates are expected to be activated this weekend against the Padres. Austin Riley will visit a specialist this week to examine this abdominal injury that he's dealing with. Tyler Stevenson was placed in the IL with a fractured left thumb. The Blue Jays are shifting Eric Lauer to the bullpen with Shane Bieber returning on Friday. Kenley Jansen is dealing with rib pain on his left side after he tweaked it during a workout. And what do you know? They had a save opportunity right away, and it was Luis Garcia who closed it out for the save. Colson Montgomery returned to the lineup after missing Tuesday with a sore left side, and Ha-Sung Kim was scratched from the lineup, reinserted into the lineup, and then scratched again with lower back tightness. All right, Chris, I'm going to throw it over to you if you're ready for the dog of the week.
And now it's time for the Dog of the Week segment, brought to you by Boehringer Ingelheim, the maker of NexGard Plus, afoxolaner, moxidectin, and pyrantel chewable tablets. Used with caution in dogs with a history of seizures or neurologic disorders. Ask your vet if NexGard Plus is right for your dog. And the Dog of the Week, unfortunately, is everyone's favorite pitching prospect, Jacob Misiorowski, who suddenly...
One hit, Chris.
I mean, hey, one hit. That's not bad. 3 earned runs allowed, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts in 4 innings. Obviously, he was really bad in his first start back from the IL last week as well. So, I don't know. I kind of think, do we have to talk about dropping Jacob Misiorowski? I think they're going to be really careful with his innings.
Yeah.
I think, I think it's going to be a lot of short starts. I think it's going to be a very slim margin for error, and the command seems to have backed up the last couple of starts.
So I'm less worried about the command because I think that's just obviously it's something Misiorowski struggled with throughout his career, and as a young pitcher, it's going to flare up from time to time. But the workload issue, I don't remember if it was last time he started or a few days ago or whatever, but I boldly predicted that I don't think we'll see another 5-inning start from Misiorowski this season. And obviously, if it starts less than 5 innings, it's pretty much worthless in fantasy.
Especially in points.
But to safeguard against the possibility that I'm wrong, because it is just a hunch, I'd be pretty scared of dropping Misiorowski. I don't want to start him right now, but it's sort of like the Strider argument where what if he's had this time to kind of let his innings he's spared some innings now so that he has more later, sort of like what's happened with Drew Rasmussen. 3 straight 6-inning starts when we weren't sure he'd ever go 6 innings again. What if the same happens with Misiorowski? He goes 6 innings next time, strikes out 9 or whatever, and then it's like, oh, I dropped him. What a numbskull I am. So no, I can't go as far as dropping Misiorowski, but I am not really counting on him making an impact for my fantasy team anymore. And rest of season,
are you starting him next week? 2-star week, Diamondbacks and Blue Jays.
That is tough.
That's a tough matchup.
I'm probably not. I have him 50th rest of season.
I think it has to be a specific scenario. I wouldn't start him in a points league, but if I'm in a roto league chasing strikeouts or something,
I could see that.
But
even then, it's like he could wreck your whip.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you start him if you need strikeouts, and other than that, I think it might be a stay away. And in some shallower points leagues, I think you can at least consider dropping Misiorowski. Unfortunately, that's not where I expected to be, but that was the Dog of the Week segment brought to you by Boehringer Ingelheim, the maker of NexGard Plus, afoxolaner, moxidectin, and pyrantel chewable tablets. They provide next-level parasite protection against fleas, ticks, heartworm disease, roundworms, and hookworms, all in a tasty beef-flavored soft chew. Used with caution in dogs with a history of seizures or neurologic disorders. Dogs should be tested for existing heartworm infection prior to starting a preventive, and ask your vet about NexGard Plus chews.
All right, let's take our final break. When we return, kind of looks like Jesus Luzardo is back. We'll do that right after this.
The most original musical ever is now streaming on Paramount Plus.
I'm just giving the people what they want.
Better Man absolutely sizzles from start to finish. Better Man, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
Welcome back in Fantasy Baseball today. Jesus Luzardo.
I'm thinking I'm back.
That's right. I'm thinking I'm back.
One of the best delivered lines. Like that, I feel like the delivery of that line gave the franchise the legs it has.
An awesome start here against the Mariners. 6 innings of 1-run ball, 12 strikeouts, 0 walks. The 12 strikeouts, a season high for Luzardo. 21 whiffs on 89 pitches. Leaned all the way into that sweeper, and it was amazing here. Now, last 5 starts, a 2.32 ERA and a .84 whip. 34 strikeouts over 31 innings, doing a much better job limiting walks and hard contact. What do you guys think? Is Luzardo back?
Yeah, I was never that worried about him, other than that horrendous 2-start stretch, last start of May, first start of June, when it was clear he was tipping his pitches. And if you take those 2 starts out, I know some people hate when I play this game. I think it's fairer to do in Luzardo's case, since those 2 starts were obviously tainted by the tipping of the pitches. If you take out just those 2 starts, he goes from having a 4.10 ERA and 1.30 WHIP to a 2.97 ERA and 1.17 WHIP, along with 10.6 K per 9, which would probably put him in the top 20. Now, I don't have him in the top 20, but I have him not far beyond that. He's pretty close to must start in my mind.
I think he's definitely must start, mostly because you're going to drive yourself crazy if you try to like pick and choose when, because he's had 5 double-digit strikeout starts. It's tied with Garrett Crochet for the 4th most in baseball. Logan Webb has 6.
That's crazy.
Pretty stunning. And then Tarek Skubal has 8 because he's a freak. And he's also had, I think, 5 starts of at least 5 earned runs, Jesus Luzardo. So it is the 2 bad starts. It's not just the 2 bad starts, though. He's been frustrating. All pitchers are random number generators to a certain extent, but Luzardo feels more random than most. It never feels like there's a good explanation, I guess, except for the pitch tipping. But I think you just got to roll with it and understand that the ERA might be a little high, but he's going to be worth it for the most part.
Mm-hmm. And he's still 80% started on CBS, so most people have kept him in the lineup, and it looks like he lines up for 2 starts next week against the Braves and the Mets. Again, that was Jesus Luzardo. Like most of the season, not really sure what to make of Sandy Alcantara here, who actually on the surface looks like he had one of his best starts of the season. 7 innings, 2 runs, one of those earned, 9 strikeouts with 20 whiffs on 114 pitches. All of that, awesome. He also allowed 11 hard hits in this game and had a 96.2 average exit velocity against. And that has been a huge problem for Sandy Alcantara all season. So as much as I love the whiffs, and I really do, I mean, that has been the other big problem for Alcantara. He's still giving up a lot of hard contact. So I don't know.
I don't know how to look. I know Chris probably does because he's good at looking up things. The ground ball rate specifically for this start for Sandy Alcantara, because it's been down for the season. He's normally a very high ground ball guy. He's been kind of just above average this year. And the reason I bring it up is because hard contact bothers me a lot less if it's on the ground. Like ground balls are hit harder on average than fly balls.
There's 8 fly balls to 6 ground balls today.
It was 33% ground ball rate today.
Not good. So it actually, okay. Well, so much for that.
I don't know. He's got a 3.56 ERA since the All-Star break, which, you know, the last 2 starts are carrying a lot of weight there, but it's really like, I think it's 7 starts total, 4 really good ones, 3 pretty bad ones. I don't know. I think this was the best he's looked since he had the surgery. And anytime you're talking about a pitcher with Sandy Alcantara's history, I'm going to be inclined to take a sign like this that he's starting to figure it out. But I don't think you should look at Sandy Alcantara as a must-start pitcher. He's got 2 starts next week. Looks like it's going to be Braves and Mets. I don't think he's a must-start there. Certainly not in Roto. In points he might be, just because he's going 6 innings really a lot, even when he's struggling. He had that 6-run, 7-inning start a couple of turns ago, I think the first start of August. So, like, you're getting volume there. So I think in points, Sandy's a pretty good start for next week. I think in Roto, it depends on who else you've got.
Yeah, I mean, 4 of his last 6 starts now have been good. And the shortest of them, to your point, 5 innings. He's had 2 that were 5 innings. The rest, 2 7 innings. How long was this?
He's averaging over 6 innings per start since the All-Star break.
Yeah, that's I think for points leagues, 2 starts, 1 start week. You know, still not
cringy.
Be that motivated to start Alcantara. But if it's a standard points league where innings count 3 points apiece, and you're obviously not worried about ratio stats, you're probably right. Probably got to start Alcantara in that format.
Over, under, or just right? Let's take a look at waiver wire hitters. Lourdes Gurriel is coming alive, or might be. Looks like it. 2 for 4 with his 17th home run, 2 RBI. And in August, hitting 270, 5 homers, 23 RBI, 3 steals, and an 835 OPS. So pretty good month here. He's 74% rostered on CBS. Is that over rostered, under rostered, or just right?
Just right.
Just right.
Okay. And we're not taking him over Marcy, Laureano, Profar, and none of those, right?
Nope.
No.
Okay. Next up, Matt Shaw hit another home run, 1 for 2 with his 11th homer, and a second half update here, hitting .302, 9 homers, 4 steals, a 1065 OPS, 66% rostered for Matt Shaw. Is that over rostered, under, or just right?
Under rostered. He is my number 13 third baseman in Roto rest of season, number 12 in points. So not only should he be rostered in basically every league, he should probably be started. Now, I don't know that you person listening to me right now has a need for him. I get that, but somebody in your league does.
Mm-hmm. One thing holding him back in points leagues is it's like not a lot of 4 plate appearances game. I guess he's maxing out at 4 plate appearances, but he's had 1 4 plate appearance game in his last 9, it looks like.
Yeah, that does hurt.
Yeah, so only 5 games with 4 plate appearances in the month of August so far. That's tough to get around in a points league, even when he's playing well. And I wouldn't be surprised if they moved him up just because the Cubs, the vibes are rotten right now, and just kind of shake things up. That wouldn't be a bad idea, but he's also probably still one of their worst hitters.
Yeah.
Not right now.
Part of why he's so high at third base is because there are few third basemen ranking that high that deserve to rank that high.
Yeah,
so Noel Marte is ahead of him. It's Max Muncy and Matt Chapman getting hurt. Made a bad situation worse at that position. So Marte and Shaw feel like godsends in that context.
It feels like there's 9 good third basemen, and that's even Jordan Westberg getting hurt every other game kind of might make it 8.
Mm-hmm. Would you guys drop Addison Barger for Matt Shaw? He's cooled off quite a bit.
Yeah. That's the one. That's the one that I have ahead of Shaw in Roto, but not in points.
Got it. All right, fair enough.
So it's close. They're like basically neck and neck. I think I like, even though he's been slumping recently, I like Barger's profile more.
Chandler Simpson racked up 2 more steals. He is up to 36 steals in just 78 games. He has 53 steals total in 110 games between the minors and the majors. He has started 13 straight for the Rays, so he's playing every day. 61% rostered. Over rostered, under rostered, just right.
I want to look up where he ranks in points since he returned, because I bet it's surprisingly high.
It's been surprisingly high all season.
Yeah.
Now, some context, because I know CBS is a little odd in this respect. Standard CBS scoring is 2 points per steal.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people who play in points leagues set it up with 1 point per steal, which really hurts base stealers. But if it's 2 points per steal, I feel like base stealers with little power are often undervalued, especially with the kind of totals they're reaching now. I mean, Simpson's been the most prolific base stealer in baseball. I don't have his numbers. It would take a few extra steps to look it up since he returned. But for the season, 2.80 points per game, which is better than Wyatt Langford has averaged this year, better than Andy Pages and TJ Friedel. Like, plenty usable in points leagues.
He's right around 40 since he came back. So a fringe starter in head-to-head points. He's like actually ahead of some surprising names like Riley Green and Sal Frelick have been. Riley Green's been slumping since then, but Sal Frelick has been really good and has a very points-friendly profile. So I'm surprised Simpson's ahead of him. So yeah, I think he's a fringe starter in points and a must-start guy in Roto. Yep. So 61%, I think you said.
Yeah,
that feels a little low.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Simpson or Lourdes Gurriel?
I think I prefer Simpson.
Lourdes Gurriel is ahead of him, but that's with an edge in playing time that might not exist the rest of the way. So I think it's really close. I think Simpson's better.
Simpson missed like 5 games a couple of weeks ago because I think it was like a wrist or a hand injury.
Yeah,
or something. So.
He started every game since then.
Yeah, it was a finger.
Yeah,
including 3 against lefties.
Next up, we have Trent Grisham, who had a huge game, 3 for 5 with a double dong here. And in August, he's got 5 homers and 860 OPS. quietly has just been really good. 23 homers on the season, a 353 on base percentage, 57% rostered, and has started 13 straight for the Yankees. Over rostered, under rostered, or just right? 57%.
Under rostered because he's back to playing basically every day. Yeah. He's back to hitting home runs. Those kind of dried up a little mid-season, but they haven't gone away. I mean, he's up to 23 now. They didn't dry up that much. And actually, earlier this week, you may remember hearing me talk about the article where I looked at matchups rest of the way, which teams have the best remaining, face the weakest pitching stats moving forward, which teams face the weakest lineups moving forward, and identifying some potential stash candidates for head-to-head playoffs during that time. Grisham made the list. He was 10th among my 10 hitter recommendations, and that wasn't even counting this current week. And look, he's already off to a good start.
Does his playing time get affected if Judge starts playing the outfield?
I guess that could happen. Yeah, I mean,
I'm not sure Judge is going to start playing the outfield.
Soon. I don't know.
It might not be worth worrying about.
Right. I mean, that would bring Stanton back into the lineup more regularly, so somebody would have to vacate more often. Now, Caballero's been getting a lot of starts. Jason Dominguez has been getting a lot of starts. Would Grisham get priority over them? I would assume so, but
I think
he might sit on occasion.
He might sit against some lefties, yeah.
Yep. Next up, Austin Wells, back from the dead, 2 for 4 with a double dong, his first home run since July 25th. Previous 21 games before this, he was hitting 123 with a 356 OPS. He is down to 59% rostered. Is that over rostered, under rostered, or just right for Austin Wells?
I think he's only relevant in 2 catcher leagues right now.
Yeah.
So that's too high.
It feels high.
Over rostered.
Yeah.
I think it's only like 25 to 30% of CBS leagues are 2 catcher leagues, for as much as we talk about them.
Yeah.
I would take Kyle Teal over him, who we spoke about recently.
Yeah. I mean, the playing time alone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Next up, I have 3, I guess, deeper league names here. Gavin Sheets, a big game, 2 for 4 with a double dong, 4 RBI. Could get more playing time here if Jackson Merrill does have to go on the IL. Brett Beatty hit another home run and has started 8 of the past 9. He's got 4 homers and a steal in those 8 games. And Tommy Pham has been hitting well for quite a while now. Last 42 games, he's hitting 338 with 6 homers, 27 RBI, 2 steals, and OPS over 900. And Chris, I know you mentioned this. He got some new contacts back in June, Tommy Pham did. And it seems to have helped. He has a history of issues with his eyes and everything. And so he's very sensitive to things like that. But it looks like he's got it figured out. Deep league names here: Tommy Pham, 10% roster; Brett Beatty, 19%; Gavin Sheets, 35%. What do you think about those?
Just fun with endpoints. So you gave Pham's numbers last 42 games, which are very good. He entered this game batting 196 in August.
Yeah, but we don't care about that. 42.
He really cooled off.
And then Beatty, tell me how many righties they face next week. If it's 6, then I'm on board. If it's 4, I'm definitely not. I think that's all it is.
The Mets play. Let's see a couple lefties here.
Yeah, because he's got a 619 OPS against lefties on the season and has only started 12 games.
7 games next week, 2 lefties. So I'll probably play 5.
Yeah.
Like
I don't hate. Like I think
tough pitchers. It's tough. It's tough matchups overall too.
I think he's an okay hot hand play, but I think it's just a deep league option. So I think 19%, that could be too low, but it's not something that I think like in the long run we're going to say, yes, Brett Beatty's been a must start player.
He should be more rostered than Sheets though. Sheets is like twice as rostered as he is. I know you said Sheets might start playing more with Merrill out. Well, he'd been playing basically not at all. This was his second start in 13 games.
Yeah. Do any of these waiver wire pitchers matter down the stretch? And 2 that I think might. Bailey Ober, a strong start against the Athletics. 5 2/3 innings, 2 runs, 7 strikeouts, had 18 whiffs on 82 pitches, but velocity down in this one, so not really sure what to make of that. And Charlie Morton, a quality start against the Astros. 6 innings, 2 runs, 8 strikeouts, 13 whiffs on 94 pitches. He threw more sinkers and cutters in this start, and I wonder if that's kind of a Tigers thing the way that they've changed Kyle Finnegan's pitch mix. They're also kind of tweaking Charlie Morton's pitch mix as well, but he has a quality start in 3 of 4 outings since joining the Tigers. What do you guys think? Bailey Ober and Morton, can they matter down the stretch here?
Yeah. I think both can matter. Do I really want to start Ober in a Roto league against the Padres and Blue Jays next week?
That's tough.
I don't think so, because there's not a lot of strikeout upside there, and there's a lot of ERA risk, especially. He's one of those guys who could have a bad start and still have a decent whip. So I guess, he might not hurt you there, but you're not likely to get a lot of strikeouts, and there's a lot of ERA risk there. And then Morton, I think the ratio risk is the biggest thing. If you need strikeouts next week at the Athletics, there could be a lot of strikeouts there. It's just they could also hit 4 home runs against him.
Yeah, I think Morton is a fine streamer rest of season, but you'd rather not have to stream. It should go without saying that you'd rather not have to stream. You'd rather just have good pitchers you can start.
I've never heard you say that before. That's so weird.
Yeah, it should go without saying, but
I've never heard you say it in the first
I get
hour
messages.
Of a podcast.
You said I should start Charlie Morton, and so I sat Brian Wu for him or something. That's kind of a ridiculous example, but sometimes I get those messages, and it's like, well, obviously you don't sit him a good pitcher for him. I like Ober. I have maintained the most faith in Ober here. I don't know what to make of this start. I don't know what to make, because my hope in Ober was that, okay, he comes back from the IL stint for that hip issue that's bothered him since spring training. He's got some velocity back. Velocity was down in this start. It was worse. Fastball velocity worse than his season average. And he only missed one bat, only got one whiff with the fastball. Well, it's not like it performed well for him, but his secondary pitches performed so well. He got 18 whiffs on 82 pitches, which is an absurd whiff rate. And it's like, okay, if this version of Ober shows up again, it's going to go well, but I don't know where it came from. I don't know that he can do it again. I still don't know that he could survive without that fastball velocity. I just have no clue. I think he needs to be rostered in more than 67% of leagues. I know we're not playing that game anymore, but I think he does. But I'm not to the point where I'm like, okay, I can trust a starting spot to Ober now. Mm-hmm. 2-star pitcher next week, probably do it in points leagues.
Yeah, points.
Are you taking Ober over any of the rookie pitchers we talked about earlier?
Yeah, all but Waldrop.
Okay. I think I would take Schlittler over him with his matchups being better, but
I would start Schlittler over Ober next week, but I still think I'd rather roster Ober in most cases.
The one thing I'll just say is if you're in a points league especially, I'd rather start, but I'd rather roster. Just go with the guy you'd rather start, because there might not be a next week,
Yep. 2 waiver wire pitchers I don't think will matter much down the stretch here. They both had good starts. I'll just mention the names: Brandon Pfaadt and Nick Martinez.
I saw the good start, and I have my little standout segment for the newsletter, and I'm always trying to not write about everyone and trying to come up with reasons to not write about some starts, and it's Brandon Pfaadt. That was a good enough reason to not write about the good starts, because this is a 5 ERA guy. This is what he's been for 3 years. I don't know. He's still 72% rostered, man. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
The strikeout teams out there, man.
Yeah, the strikeouts are down this year. He's routinely giving up a lot of hard contact, a lot of home runs. So
everything is worse this year than it's been in the past.
Yeah. Nick Martinez, I guess, could matter in a points league as a spark, but he's at the Dodgers next week, so I don't think I want to get involved with that. A couple names here in deeper leagues. JP Sears rejoined the Padres with a quality start against the Giants. Martin Perez pitched well at the Braves, 5 1/3, 1 unearned run with 5 strikeouts. And Johan Oviedo, who had some okay moments 2 years ago with the Pirates back in 2023, but he pitched well here against the Blue Jays. 5 innings, 1 run, 6 strikeouts. Mostly deep league names, but any interest in Oviedo, Martin Perez, or JP Sears?
Not really to pick up in fantasy, but I do want to monitor Sears and Oviedo. I think there could be something there for both. In Sears' case, if he had the innings to qualify, he would be he would have the top fly ball rate among starting pitchers. So an extreme fly ball guy. And we've seen how that's gone for Nick Pivetta going to San Diego. I don't think Sears has near Pivetta's upside. He doesn't have a strikeout potential, but could he become useful in San Diego? I could see that.
Yeah.
Oviedo has had stretches where he gets a ton of whiffs. And he obviously did in this start against the Blue Jays. During his 2 starts back at AAA, because remember, he made a start for the Pirates a couple weeks ago. Went back to AAA, 2 starts there. He had an 18% swinging strike rate, which is enormous. And I just don't know that we've seen Oviedo's best yet. Obviously, coming back from Tommy John surgery, he's missed a lot of time. He's been out of sight, out of mind for a while. Interested in seeing how this goes.
All right, I have a trio of pitchers here. The velocity was all down, and they all pitched pretty poorly here on Wednesday. Framber Valdez, Luis Castillo, and Shohei Ohtani, the pitcher. Granted, he was in Coors Field, but the velocity down for all 3. Does that concern either of you? For Valdez, Castillo, or Ohtani?
I'm concerned about Castillo, not necessarily because of velocity, just because I think he's maybe not all that good anymore. And he was getting away with it for a pretty long time, and I think it's coming back to haunt him in August. If I remember correctly, it's like an 8 ERA in August, 6.05 ERA, 166 WHIP in August.
Keep getting away with it.
Yeah, he's gone less than 5 innings in 3 of the 4. His xERA is up to a career worst 4.15. I'm not saying drop Luis Castillo, but I think we're in kind of that Kevin Gausman territory where there will be good starts. He'll be useful. I don't think you should expect him to be a difference maker anymore. Framber.
Yeah, I want to talk about Framber.
He's not throwing his curveball.
Right.
It was not working in this one.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, it was actually kind of a miracle that this game was as good as it was.
7 earned runs in 5 innings.
He gave up 6 earned runs in the first inning and threw a wild pitch and was getting just crushed in the first inning. So again, it could have been worse. And his curveball usage was down to like 20% in this start. It's down to 25% in the month of August. And it's one of those chicken or egg situations. Is he bad because he's not throwing his curveball as much? Or is he not throwing his curveball as much because he's bad right now? You know, like that's the question.
Well, yeah. I mean, is the curveball itself not coming out right?
That's what I mean.
That's the way I would lean, yeah.
Yeah, because it is a 4-start stretch throwing his curveball about 25% of the time. The key threshold for Framber is 40%. When he throws his curveball 40% of the time, that's where he gets those double-digit strikeout games. Like prior to this 4-start stretch, he had a 12 strikeout game. He's had 4 double-digit strikeout games this season. Not many
that stretch in the second half last year.
Yeah, it's and so 25% usage of the curveball is not good. Whether it's fair because it's just not working, okay, I can't speak to that, but it's not what you want to see. Last 4 starts now for Framber Valdez, it's a 7.33 ERA, 176 WHIP, and as reactive as people are for bad stretches for good pitchers, saying, "Can I sit him? Can I sit him? Can I drop him?" I don't think anybody's asking to drop Valdez, but can I sit him? I don't think I would, but I get it.
Yeah.
He's another one of those where if you try to get into the game of sitting Framber, he goes out there and it's like 7-1, 7.
Oh, you're not sitting him.
You're
You're absolutely not sitting him next week. Sorry, I know you might want to versus Colorado. You're not sitting Framber Valdez next week.
Yeah, and that start is in Houston.
So. Yeah, in Houston against Colorado, you're starting him. If it goes poorly, it goes poorly. You live with it.
Yeah. Updated arbitrary endpoints for 3 hitters. Julio Rodriguez continues his tear, 3 for 4 with his 25th homer. Last 35 games, hitting .310, 14 homers, 8 steals, and OPS over 1,000. Another night, another homer for Shea Langoliers, his 28th. He has homered in 3 straight, and 40 games since coming off the IL, 309, 18 homers, 33 RBI, a 15% barrel rate during that stretch. Tyler Soderstrom has also picked things back up. This has been going on quite a while, by the way. I mean, he slowed down a little bit in May, the early part of June, but last 51 games for Soderstrom, 301, 9 homers, 29 RBI, and OPS over 850. So he's been really good overall this season and basically since the middle of June. Anything to add on those 3? They're hot.
Shea Langoliers, we're going to have some interesting conversations about him in the offseason. He might end up with like 35 homers and a K rate below 50 or 19%. Like, that's really impressive. His underlying numbers haven't improved quite as much as the above line numbers, but this is one of the things we talked about in the offseason with that new ballpark. This was a huge, dramatic ballpark shift going from O.co to Sutter Health.
Your Health, that's right.
And I don't know. He might be, top 5 catcher next year.
There are 12 catchers I want in my top 5.
Yeah,
I think Langoliers is going to win out.
We had an extended conversation about this yesterday, and Langoliers didn't come up. But like Shea Langoliers versus William Contreras next year be a real interesting conversation.
Yeah. If Cal Raleigh is the big dumper, is Shea Langoliers the mini dumper?
We were making that comp coming into the year too. Now, I don't think we expected either to improve. Like it's funny because you can still make that comparison. Langoliers is the poor man's Raleigh because they both improved their production in a way that corresponds to each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, look, obviously Raleigh's in a tier of his own, but you get into like William Contreras, Will Smith, Langoliers, and Hunter Goodman. That feels like a really strong 2 through 5 for early catcher rankings for next season.
How late is Adley Rutschman going to go next year? He's just going to be the forgotten man.
Yeah.
Looks like deservedly so, but
it's going to be a year and a half since he was good. So
a conversation for another day. Some other hitting leftovers. George Springer homered again, 5 games since returning. He has 6 hits, 3 homers, and a steal. Huge games for Trey Turner and Kyle Schwarber. Turner 5 for 6 with a triple and 2 steals. Schwarber hit his National League leading 45th home run of the year. Vinny P.
Baby.
He continues his power binge. He's homered in 3 straight, has 5 home runs in his past 10 games. He's up to 25 homers and 86 RBI. That is just really good stuff there for Pasquantino. Nice game for Wyatt Langford. He reached base 5 times. He went 2 for 2 with 3 walks and his 18th home run. He actually led off in this game, the 4th time he's done that this season. And Giancarlo Stanton is Thanos. That is it. He is inevitable. That's it. He homered again in the extra innings. So off the bench, pinch hit, go ahead home run off of Pete Fairbanks. One of the best.
A hilarious one too. Like a half swing.
It was crazy.
Yes.
Crazy stuff. Some pitching leftovers. Chris Bassett took a tough luck loss at the Pirates, 5 2/3, 2 runs with 10 strikeouts that tied a season high. Drew Rasmussen has been really efficient going deeper into his starts. He went 6 innings of 2-run ball against the Yankees here. Actually threw 91 pitches, his most in a start since June 19th.
Yeah.
Second most all season.
And Yusei Kikuchi was great against the Reds, 7 innings, 1 run, 4 strikeouts, but only had 6 whiffs on 88 pitches. Anything to add on those 3?
The one question I have on Rasmussen, who continues to just prove me wrong at every step. They mentioned 150 innings as his limit. He's up to 123.2. Do we think it's just 5 more starts and then they just cut him off early?
Probably.
That would seem to.
How hard of a limit was that? How did they put it exactly?
The Yankees broadcast mentioned it as well, so it's got to be out there that it's like a real thing.
Because sometimes it's like we're hoping he gets to around 150 innings, which seems like a very loose threshold to me.
Especially because the Rays won't be playing for anything in mid to late September. I think they'll probably just give 5 more starts.
So there are. How many turns are left for pitchers?
Mark Tompkin of the Tampa Bay Times, who's the guy for the Rays, basically, said he has 150 innings limit for the season.
Okay. That sounds like a pretty hard limit.
Yeah.
He might have
probably,
4 starts left.
Yeah, that's probably 5 more starts.
5 starts of 5 innings gets him to 148.
Yeah, so that would be my guess
and that'll put us
pretty close, but
pretty
not
close
quite
to the end of the season.
Yeah.
I mean,
I kind of just feel like he's I don't want to say must-start pitcher, but pretty close to
absolutely.
it. He's pitching really, really well right now.
Yeah, you just start him until it finishes. There's nothing actionable there. It's just know that you're probably, if you're playing through to the end of the schedule, you're probably going to have 2 or 3 weeks where Drew Rasmussen's not there.
You'd prefer that in fantasy too.
Oh, yeah. To
4
3
inning
innings
starts that take us to the end of the season.
Absolutely.
All to the bullpen for the Pirates. Dennis Santana pitched a clean 9th inning for his 9th save. For the Guardians, Cade Smith entered with 2 outs in the 8th. 1-run lead. He got Corbin Carroll out and then came back out for the 9th. And he gave up a game-tying home run, took his 4th blown save, and the Guardians lost in extras. The Braves, Raisel Iglesias struck out 1 for his 21st save. For the Nationals, Jose Ferrer got the 9th inning with a 1-run lead. He allowed a hit, but picked up his 3rd save. 20% rostered. Looks like the main guy for the Nationals, though. I guess they could use him in the 8th inning if there's a lot of lefties coming up. For the Cubs, Daniel Palencia got the 9th with a 2-run lead. He allowed a run on 2 hits and 2 walks, but picked up his 18th save. For the Yankees, never a dull moment. David Bednar got the 9th with a 2-run lead, gave up 2 runs on 2 hits and a walk, nearly gave up a walk-off homer. It was a foot away from going over the fence. The Yankees put up 3 runs in the top of the 10th, and good old Devin Williams got the bottom of the 10th. He gave up a run on 2 hits, but picked up his 18th save of the season. For the Athletics, Sean Newcomb pitched 2 scoreless innings across the 5th, 6th, and 7th with the game tied. The Athletics took the lead in extras. Tyler Ferguson walked 1, but picked up his 2nd save. I kind of was leaning that Sean Newcomb was the guy, but maybe not.
Yeah, I'd still lean that way, but I don't know how many saves you can honestly expect. 4, 3.
I think maybe not.
Yep.
That's not to say it's not, but maybe not.
And I mentioned this earlier with the Angels, but Kenley Jansen was unavailable. Luis Garcia picked up the save. Reed Detmers pitched in the 8th inning. If anything happens where Jansen has to go on the IL, they would probably play matchups, I would guess, between those two, Reed Detmers and Luis Garcia.
Detmers hasn't been as good. I was looking at it because I was debating whether to drop him in Tout Wars, where I have a few prospective saves guys, and he has like a 5 ERA and it's in the second half or something. Don't quote me on that, but it was something like that. He's kind of slowed down.
All right, to stream or not to stream, and I must remind you that Scott White does not like any of these pitchers, and you should not use them unless you are extremely desperate.
There's one I like on Thursday.
All right, let's see. On Thursday, we have Jack Perkins at the Twins, Justin Verlander at the Padres, and Jason Alexander and Brandon Young are facing each other.
Jack Perkins is the one I like. I like him a lot rest of season. He's widely available. I think I prefer him. Do I prefer him to Cam Schlittler? Certainly not for next week with those matchups, but maybe just in general I do. And I know overall the Athletics have good matchups for their pitching staff. So definitely the Twins. Obviously, their lineup is pretty weak at this point. And he's been piling up whiffs, expanding his arsenal to 4 pitches. I think Jack Perkins, the future, both immediate and long term, is bright.
If you need a second one on Thursday, Verlander at the Padres is okay. He's been pitching better and coming off his best start of the season. So
I don't hate Jason Alexander at Baltimore.
Yeah, that would be my third option as well. And then on Friday, we have Nolan McLean at the Braves. Joey Wentz is facing the Mets. Adrian Hauser gets the Cardinals. Zebby Matthews at the White Sox. Aaron Savali against the Twins. And Slade Ciccone at the Rangers.
McLean and Zebby Matthews are my 2 favorites.
I prefer Zebby to McLean because the Braves lineup is kind of ridiculous right now. And he's obviously not a proven asset, but he is probably my second favorite for Friday after Zebby.
All right, we are going to wrap there for Scott and Chris. I am Frank. Thanks as always for tuning in to Fantasy Baseball today. Please make sure to follow and leave a 5-star rating on Apple or Spotify. And we will be back again tomorrow. Bye-bye.